I don't know what was going on. It's working though.
Oh.
It just kind of clicked out. I know. I'll walk around. Good evening. Happy December. Good evening. Happy December. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Turn that off. Oh my goodness. Turn that off. Oh my. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's good to be here with you guys on this wet and rainy, cold Monday night. We've got a lot of things that are exciting that will warm you up and get you in the holiday spirit. Of course, we had to postpone our Christmas tree lighting from Saturday until this Saturday, and it's going to be great. It's going to work out for the best because I think the weather's going to be absolutely phenomenal, and it really, things always kind of work themselves out. Everything will be scheduled to still happen. The only thing we will not have is currently, unless I find someone else, but carriage rides. It's the only thing that we will not have. But Santa is still expected. Our vendors will still be joining us. Our tree lighting will still take place at 5:30. We also are partnering with our friends from H4 Fireworks, and they will be doing a technical display. Hunter has been working with me very closely on that with Crockett and the team there. And we're excited about it because it's going to be synced to Christmas music. And so it's not just your average little, firework display. It's going to be really beautiful and something that the town and, the whole community will be extremely proud of. So we're excited about that. But that, of course, is coming up. Some things that we've been doing, though, we've been busy with generating some good tax revenues. Our hometown holiday open house. We're excited about that. That was an amazing success. We've partnered with our friends from the Greenbrier Fire Department. They were able to host Santa that day. That was one of the stops that we added back this year. Folks were able to turn in their completed map. We had 10 required stops this year, 127 completed maps were turned in. We know a lot more folks were actually participating in that, though, that maybe did not turn in their map. We're overall very proud of that. Approximately about $1,500 worth of prizes were given away to the folks who were participating. And thank you to my friends over there from the Greenbrier Fire Department for working with me on that project. We also had a ribbon cutting at Lender's Title, and that was a lot of fun. That was Wednesday, November 12th. Lip Sync Showdown, that was another active activity that we had at Herschel Hall. That was a wonderful event. Approximately $2,000 was raised to the Capital campaign. We're still trying to raise funds for that. We're paying for some renderings for our soon-to-be amphitheater, hopefully in Matthews Park, and we were really excited about where that's going. We are on our second round of revisions with that, speaking of the amphitheater, and so hopefully within the next couple of weeks we'll have a third round and finally get somewhere to where we can be really proud and show you guys what we've been working on for that. And so again, all of that money is going to pay for those renderings, and so they're very pricey. And then of course, mark your calendars. The tree lighting ceremony I just mentioned. We have some choir performances coming up at Glisson on the 8th and the 9th. Our big Celebrate Christmas at the Pentecostals of Greenbrier is going on Wednesday. And of course, our Christmas parade. We are excited to celebrate 30 years of cheer. No Grinch Can Steal. That thing coming in hot from our fearless mayor. We love that theme, the Grinch theme, so fitting for 30 years. And speaking of that, he is no Grinch. I think he probably has the most Christmas spirit probably in the whole community. We're real excited to honor. Some of you might know Johnny Miller. He is going to be our Grand Marshal this year. And so I think he might be watching our Christmas or our Facebook Live, that is. So he's finding out right now as we speak. So hello, Johnny. Congratulations. We're excited to, again, have him lead the parade. And one reason he was chosen, I'm sure y'all know, in 50 years, he has been bringing joy to kids in our community and families who have driven to his house to see his beautiful light display. And we just want to celebrate him, and I think this is a really great way to do that. And so we are honored for the nominations coming in for that, and I think he's going to be a great Grand Marshal. Of course, we're also going to have our other Grand Marshals. Dr. Kelly Martin hopefully will let us scoot her up to the front of the line. She was our Citizen of the Year, and Lanita Ware was our Volunteer of the Year. They always participate in that capacity as well. So it's going to be a great parade. Meredith, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be amazing.
She, by the way, Meredith, if y'all don't know this, she helps lead the traffic. Should we call her the Grand Poobah of the parade? She's down there at the roundabout, helping direct traffic, telling people where to go. And of course, our whole chamber board is down there directing traffic. Thank you, Greenbrier Police Department, for helping us this year with this, because this is, again, growing bigger and bigger. It's massive. We've got people coming in from everywhere to participate in this. It's gonna be a beautiful parade. Hopefully, the Grinch isn't gonna dampen the weather on that night, so fingers crossed. Also, we have Share the Light with our friends from LDS. They are going to be taking things over on Saturday, December 13th. We also have Santa Night again. If you have people asking, is Santa coming back to Glisten? Make sure you join us. Farm Credit, they are helping us sponsor that. A live nativity with live song will be taking place. That's a drive-through experience. That's on the 19th and 20th. And then Circus VIP night. I would love for y'all to be my VIPs. And that is on Friday the 19th. If you guys want to bring your family, please let me know. I'd love for you to join me for the grand opening of the circus as they come back. If you know anybody in the community that you think would benefit from being an actual sponsor for a ringmaster, let me know. We have a different program for that this year because we're just trying to generate some revenue for the circus. It's much needed. It takes a lot of money for them to come and put this production on right in our backyard. And so we're kind of getting unique, throwing out some unique ideas for folks to be able to support their program. And then, of course, the Grinch and Garland meet and greet. We're excited about this. It's with Arkansas Trash Systems, and the Grinch will be out there. And guess who's the Grinch? The jolliest girl in Greenbrier, me. It's so much fun getting to be the Grinch. I'll hide in a trash can and jump out, scare children. It's fun. So anyway, join me for that. It's going to be great. Anyway, do y'all have any questions about Listen?
Do we have signs out on Tyler yet?
They are ordered. They will be here.
Cool.
That's for the parade he's talking about.
What time will we stop traffic?
Children and floats, they start arriving on the Tyler extension at 4 p.m. So we're hoping through traffic 4 p.m. Now, Wilson Farm, that will be open until 5:45. I mean, right up until it starts, that will be open for traffic. But where all the kids are lining up, that will be at 4. The schools start bringing their floats over there at that time.
Okay, 4.
It takes a while to get them
Mm-hmm.
situated,
Yes.
and half the time they're still adding stuff to their float. You know how it is. Any other questions? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Ashton. Okay, our first time, I'm going to move a few items around so these guys can get back to Little Rock at a decent hour. So we're gonna let them go first if y'all don't mind. Heather Marshall or, you're gonna
I'll talk to them, yeah,
okay,
we flip-flop.
okay.
So it's good to be here again with you. We were here back in July, we talked basically about what the pool of money for a sales tax could possibly generate. I know y'all kind of debated on what project wants to be, so we're here to discuss. And I'm just discussing numbers, I'd let Taylor go over the ordinance for the fire project. I'll just get right to it. If you turn to page 2. So there's 2 questions, and, our project that we're working on is only related to restructuring the 3/8 tax. The 1/8 tax there's not gonna have to be a question on that related to the parks, but we do have that pledged for the bonds to help securitize that, make the bond coverage a little bit better. But just to start, I want to give kind of an overview of the history of the 2018 bonds, which we're restructuring. And as you can see here, in 2018, we did a $5.8 million deal for the park improvements. And every 6 months since then, that shows you, your scheduled principal that you paid, plus early redemption from excess taxes as taxes have grown. And if you look down at the bottom of June 1 of 25, that was what was currently outstanding, $3.1 million. And that's what we used for the refunding question. We've actually, as of today, there was $235,000 called from First Security Bank, your trustee. So the current outstanding balance of the 2018 bonds would be $2,865,000. So we're going to refund those, restructure it, and then add in the new improvements for the fire. That kind of just shows you where we got for the refunding question, which Taylor you'll see it's 3.1 million. So we're not going to exceed that. It's most likely going to be quite a bit lower than that. As you can see, we've already got some cushion as of today. If you turn to page 3, so this really shows, we discussed this back in July, but the amount of growth that you all seen in the sales tax collections over the last few years. I have this chart dating back from 2018 when we did the original deal. We've had 88% growth since then. When I was here in July, the 12 months ended, I think it was June was the last 12 months. And we're actually up $16,000 from then, so $965,000 for a total asset, which is, it's keeps moving. So it's good to see 5% growth year over year, assuming the last 12 months. And I'll just get right to it. If we turn to page 5, this is just the same exact page we looked at in July, but with updated interest rates and updated tax collections. So in July, we were estimating the true interest cost, which is basically your blended interest rate, was about 5.02. Right now it's at a 4.61. So we've seen significant drop in rates, which has been a benefit to the city, as well as 16,000 extra a year. And so back in July for new construction, we were a little under 7.4 million. And today it's at $8.1 million. For the ballot that you're going to see that Taylor presents, we're actually showing a much higher number. So right now we have about a 10% cushion between what your annual payment will be and what the tax collections are. For the purposes of the ballot, I took the 10% away just to give more room for if collections go up again and if rates keep dropping. So we're not running out of room to try to squeeze every dollar you can if you're going to go low. So you'll see it's, we used, I think, 9.8 million, which includes basically a 10% increase plus the cost of doing the deal. But as of today, if we price this today based on current market rates and your current tax collections, you'd have $10.7 million bond issue. 8.1 of that would be in new construction money for the fire improvements, and then a refunding of 2.6 million less cost of issuance. So much better position than we were in July, about 700,000 in the benefit. So that's good to see. So hopefully over the next few months, we'll continue to see an increase in that. I guess I'll stop there for any questions. So quite a lot to get to digest, but
We just want to make sure that everybody knows that this is nothing new.
nothing new.
What
That's
we're
right.
already paying.
Yep.
And it's just extending it out.
Yep. So we have to refund the 2018 bonds to extend out and repurpose the tax. And so that's the purpose of that. And like the mayor said, no increase in taxes. We actually don't have to vote on the 1/8 permanent tax. It still goes to parks. But you were wise back in 2018 to already pledge that to future debt. So we use that for coverage and help sell the bonds to get a better interest rate. So like I said, we use a 10% cushion right now between the taxes that you collect and what you're going to pay. We actually have the parks on top of that. That provides, we actually have a 46% cushion. But we never want to dip into the parks money, so that's why we put some cushion in there. So,
Well, and if things keep growing like they have, which they're fixing to go way up, Tractor Supply gets built.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep doing what we've been doing, and we'll just keep paying more and more.
That's right.
We pay extra, so.
Yeah.
We'll pay off a lot sooner than that.
Yeah, the 2018 bonds, I think we originally projected they would pay off in 2039. We're about 10 years ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, a good count.
So,
88% growth helps.
yeah, that's a lot. And we don't see any slowdown in the future.
I like to see just these interest rates come down. I mean, we're at, what's that, we're over 40 basis points, or almost 0.5% lower than we were here in July. So I can't predict the future, but I'd love for that to keep going. Get people put more bang for your buck.
Okay.
But that's really how we derived to the two questions you'll have. So you have a refunding question and a new money question. That's kind of how we got to the numbers. So The refunding is just, that's what's currently outstanding. Well, as of today, it's slightly lower. And then, like I said, what could we afford today? Plus about 10%, just to give us some more room to kind of squeeze out every dollar. Okay, I'll be here, and I'll turn to Taylor and Bill.
Thank you, David Ordens. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Taylor Marshall with Friday Eldridge and Clark, serve as the city's bond counsel. So you have before you an ordinance, I hope you had it before you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They're good.
You're about to have an ordinance before you, that calls an election for March 3rd, 2026 on the issuance of these bonds. It also levies the new 3/8 cent tax. You'll notice that in section 2 of the ordinance, it makes very clear that the tax won't be levied unless the voters approve the issuance of the bonds. And so David kind of went over the history of the prior bond issue and the fact that we've got to refund the other bonds to get the new money for the fire. And that's because you have the existing 3/8 cent tax that can only be used currently to pay debt service on the 2018 bonds. So what we will do, if the voters approve both questions, is that we will refund the 2018 bonds and we'll terminate the current 3/8 cent tax. Okay, we will then levy, this new tax will go into effect the day after the termination of the existing 3/8 cent tax for that's paying debt service on the 2018 bonds. And so this will be a seamless, one goes off and one goes on. And so that's why it's just an extension of the current 3/8 cent tax. So you currently have 1/2 cent that's servicing debt, with the excess going to operate and maintain your Parks and Rec system. If these bonds are issued, you'll have the same structure, 1/2 cent with 3/8 going to service debt on the new bonds, and the 1/8 is going, excess going to operate, maintain your park system. So that's technically how the taxes work. If you would just humor me and look at section 3 of your ordinance in front of you. This also sets the ballot. And so section 3, the questions of issuing the bonds will go to the voters, and it'll be in this format. You'll see there's a long paragraph on the bottom of page 2 that makes it clear that there's a new 3/8 cent tax. The 3/8 cent tax will replace the 3/8 cent tax that was levied to pay debt service on the 2018 bonds. The new tax will be 3/8 cents, regardless of both one or both questions are passed. And that the 3/8 cent tax will expire when the bonds are paid. If you flip over to the next page, you'll see at the top that it makes it clear that top of page 3, in order to provide additional funds to pay or further secure repayment of the bonds, that we can pledge the existing 1/8 cent tax for O&M. It then gets into both questions. And this is when we talk about both questions. When you issue sales and use tax bonds, each purpose has to be set out on the ballot separately. That's in our Constitution. And so we have a refunding question and we have a firefighting improvement bond question. Both of these have to pass in order for this to all work the way that we've explained. If the refunding question does not pass, we cannot terminate the existing 3/8 cent tax. So at that point, we would not issue the fire bonds because we're not trying to have a tax increase. And you can, by a 2/3 vote, just at that point, even though the voters had approved the firefighting improvement bond question, you could just say, we're not going to issue these bonds by 2/3 vote of this council. And so that's how that would work. Now, alternatively, if the refunding question passes and the fire also passes, did I say that right?
Or if the refund passes and
And if it doesn't, the new money doesn't, then, unless there's going to be savings that, we wouldn't issue the bonds. It'd be the same result. So both need to pass in order for this to work as we've explained. And so when you're going out to the voters and trying to explain why there's two questions, really the importance that they need to know is we can't do the new fire improvements with the same tax rate that we have unless that refunding question also passes. That's really all they need to know. Vote yes to both, to get the fire. So, we've got to adopt this ordinance and file it with the county clerk, by December 26th, which is 70 days before the March 3rd election date. That's also a state law requirement. We've got plenty of time to do that, but obviously if you, suspend the rules tonight, adopt this ordinance, this evening, then we'll go ahead and we'll file it with the county clerk and start working on the things that we need to do to get it on the ballot March 3rd.
That cleared everybody?
Just so I feel good about it myself, I just want to read you the description in the firefighting improvement bond ballot question. This will be what the money is going to have to be spent on. And so this says bonds of the city of Greenbrier in the maximum aggregate principal amount of $9,850,000 for the purpose of financing all or a portion of the cost of firefighting facilities and apparatus, including particularly without limitation, the acquisition of a new fire truck, equipment and other apparatus for the fire department, and improvements to the Spring Hill Fire Station and any parking equipment and furnishings therefore, and in order to pay the bonds, the levy and pledge with 3/8% local sales and use tax to the city. And so just know that once you adopt this ordinance tonight, that is the ballot question. As we get closer to March, we can't amend it. We can't, after this meeting, amend that narrative description of how we're going to spend these bond proceeds. That is the description that will be printed on ballots.
And I don't know if any of y'all know, or most of you probably do know where our Spring Hill Fire Station is at, but we have been approached, I believe, by Pafford about putting another ambulance up here. There's so much traffic north of Conway that they need another ambulance closer to us. So we thought the Spring Hill Station would be a good place to improve and make it livable with living quarters for the future for when Greenbrier does annex Spring Hill. It'll be ready to go. And we're gonna have a place to put Pafford.
Does Packard pay anything for
They still, no, I mean, as far as paying us, no, but they still do all their medical and do supplies for y'all also.
Yes.
Yes, sir. But they're a great service to have here. And if we can get them another one up here and have a place for them to like, that'd be a good thing. Don't y'all think?
Absolutely.
That's kind of why we wanted to include the Spring Hill Fire Station. Because it's just a shell. It used to have maybe a kitchen in it, an office and a kitchen, but it's got to be torn out and redone.
So out of this amount, how much of that would you say is kind of in Spring Hill fire department versus the other equipment?
Oh, I mean, I hadn't even thought about it, but I mean, we could probably rebuild the inside of the fire station for 500,000.
Okay.
Now, we haven't had a new truck since 1974. Is that right? It'd be a good time to get one.
Yeah.
You got our money's worth out of that one.
Yeah. And, we've scraped along and bought used since 74, so.
When with the growth of the city, we just can't afford not to. We'll get a new truck along.
Are we talking, when we say a new truck, are we talking a new to us truck or a new truck?
I think a new truck, new bumper. Yeah, and they're 3 million?
Depending on what you get,
Yeah.
anywhere from right around a million to on up.
Right.
Ladder trucks run 3 to 5. Pumper tanker runs 1.5 to 2. Engine, depending on if you go commercial cab or custom cab, anywhere from 750 to $1.5 million.
What do you look at when you try to determine what we need?
Where we're sitting is tank volume. So the tank that's on the truck, how much it can hold. Size, because we have some small streets, narrow streets, so be able to get in and out. And then pump capacity. Are the biggest things we look at.
What's your guesstimate on what we need?
1,000-gallon tank, minimum 1,500-gallon pump. On the shortest cab we can get.
What kind of money are we looking at there?
Depends on if we go commercial or custom. A commercial is like an 18-wheeler you see driving down the road. In front of it's got the nose like, the Internationals and the Kenworths you see pulling trailers down the road. Those are around 750 to $1 million. A custom, which is like what we have now, flat nose, typical fire truck that everybody sees. About $1.5 million, and they're sitting. Pierce right now is 38 months out. So if you order today, you're looking 38 months.
Yeah.
A ladder truck, you're looking at, like I said, you're looking at 3 to 5 million, depending on what you get, what size ladder. And you're looking at almost 5 years out.
So how do they base the price on that? Are you able to lock in a price?
When you order it, you lock in your price.
Okay, so we're not subject to inflation or cost
Now,
increase?
if the government comes in and mandates a change in the motors, they did that 2 years ago. So then the motor had to be changed. Like, so if you ordered a truck today, but it wasn't gonna be done until 27, then if the motor that was in your frame didn't meet the EPA standards, then it had to be updated to the motor.
Somebody moving things up.
It steals, but that's all. And that type of stuff, once you walk in, what you do. The normal increases that you get normally most of the fire stuff, you'll go up in January, February-ish. Just normal, like everything else goes up. But once you sign that contract, you're locked in.
So we can figure out what we need. So once we get this passed, and I'm gonna be fairly confident that we're able to get it done, we can go ahead and get an order started.
Once we get it passed.
Get that, you got voter approval.
And I assume we'll be able to keep the previous standard and perhaps move that to Spring Hill.
Yeah.
I know one of the problems they talked about is, if it's way out there, you start running low on that tanker truck, you have to leave and go get it filled. We have 2 of them, then we're able to go back and forth.
Yes, sir.
We're actually getting more than one tanker truck I have in this one because we're actually a continuous.
But we can, with that passage, we can do a lot of things for the fire department and the citizens of the town that deserve this. So we'll have to work hard at it to get it approved,
We can do it.
but I think we can.
One of the biggest immediate benefits is right now, if we run back-to-back calls, or if our ambulance goes to Conway for a transport, we're waiting 20 to 30 minutes for another ambulance, because we're waiting on an ambulance to come out of. Everybody knows where Lowe's is at in Conway. That's our first option. If they're busy, we're getting one off of Commerce. So down there by the John Deere dealership. So
And Carter, I mean, you need another ambulance. I mean, it'd be handy, very handy.
it'll lessen the load on our ambulances here and give us, even when we have 2 calls back to back or simultaneous, it'll give us better support for the citizens.
So one of the things that's been said to me is the difficulty turning out Highway 65 at the current station. Obviously, traffic in the station in Spring Hill is considerably different than here. Being located, is that the ideal location? Or is it the most fiscally conservative location by like enhancing that one, or is it the most ideal? Well,
I mean, it's both. You can go either way out of there. You're a little further down from the stoplight, so you get that break-in traffic, whereas now, if we're pulling out of north-south bays, you're right there on the light. So as soon as one light turns red, you're getting the turning traffic off the next light, and so it'll give you a little bit of a break being a little further away from something.
and then, seems pretty self-evident with how it says equipment and other apparatuses. I know right now we're obviously bound by not being able to get different equipment. This is broad enough that we can get what we need as the needs change. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think he worded that very well.
That's correct. Okay.
And the upkeep,
What's that?
and the upkeep on
Yes,
the
right.
equipment. We gotta look at
Exactly. that.
longevity. Yeah, you want the equipment upkeep.
And this is, would this language include
It's
the,
just capital improvements,
Okay.
so it's capital equipment costs. So if there's, maintenance expenses in the future, that'll have to come from another source.
Okay.
But we've got to spend our bond proceeds in 3 years.
Gotcha.
And this is something that we'll go over, assuming the voters approve the bond. But the bond money won't be around for very long.
with it having these spent 3 years, if with the wait list like that, how does that work? If so we spend those monies.
Yeah, we're gonna have to probably make sure that you can prepay.
Okay.
So not pay upon delivery, but the bond money's gonna have to be spent in 3 years, or 85% of it. If we issue tax exempt bonds, which you're gonna want to issue tax exempt bonds, this would qualify for tax exemption under federal tax law. If you didn't have that requirement that you have to spend it 85% in 3 years, that is a federal tax requirement. So if you did taxable bonds, you could sit on that money as long as you wanted. But, if we're,
Taxable bonds are 1.5% to 2% higher interest costs. You have the ability to issue tax-free, so we want to try to issue tax-free.
yeah, I made a note on my pay. We need to make sure that if we know there's a 38-month lead time, let's go ahead and nail down whether or not we can go ahead and pay. I assume the company wouldn't care.
No.
We've financed plenty of fire trucks, a lot of fire trucks with sales tax bonds, tax exempt. And I know there's a big lead time. So I'm sure that somebody else has crossed this bridge with these companies who are making these trucks. And you could go ahead and pay it on the front end rather than pay it on delivery.
Most companies don't mind getting their money early,
Yeah, I assume not.
unless you change up something like that, which it's probably gross.
And look at it, they do, I mean, you can pay for it up front, depending on how you spec it. You can pay for everything up front, the striping, the lights and
Are y'all
everything.
ready to,
Yeah.
the ordinance, are you ready on this one?
Yeah, what's the ordinance number on this?
2025
I'm sorry?
2025-10.
You want me to read the entire ordinance?
No, just the headings, and then we suspend the rules on it.
If you could entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
I'll make motion, Mr. Chairman, to reading.
So,
So motion been made and seconded to suspend the rules and read by title only. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Mayor, do you mind doing a roll call vote? Just
Sure.
hearing, thank you.
You gonna do the roll call or you want me to? Okay. Okay.
Kelly Nolan,
Yes.
Mark Harden. Yes. Larry Johnson,
Yes.
Jason Bollinger.
Yes.
Meredith Post,
Yes.
Richard Williams.
Yes.
Okay, you want me to read the title?
Yes, sir.
An ordinance calling a special election in the city of Greenbrier, Arkansas, on the questions of issuing bonds under amendment number 62 to the Constitution of the state of Arkansas for the purpose of financing and refinancing the cost of capital improvements, levying at 3/8 of 1% sales and use tax for the purpose of retiring such bonds and prescribing other matters pertaining thereto.
And so now we've heard the reading and we can take a voice,
Motion to adopt.
a roll call to adopt. So I need a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2025-10, so moved.
Okay, and the second, and we want to do a roll call vote. I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
Kelly Nolan,
Yes.
Mark Harden,
Yes.
Larry Johnson.
Yes.
Jason Bollinger,
Yes.
Meredith Post,
Yes.
Richard Williams.
Yes.
And Does it have emergency clause?
It does not. It does not have an emergency clause. One of the things that we're gonna need to do is post this ordinance in the 5 places that you typically post. I have written down, it's Double B's, Satterfield's, Mojo's, Hometown Pizza, Tires for Less, and American Drug.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct?
That's correct.
Okay. We don't need a motion to post it, but I just wanted to make sure that, I'm gonna draft some minutes, excerpts from minutes in connection with the bond issue. I just wanna make sure that that's included in the minutes, that we discuss that. So, okay.
So this is approved.
This is approved. We need to get this filed with the county clerk ASAP, not the circuit clerk, the county clerk. I'll work with Mayor, I'll work with you and Ms. Leslie to get this done. And then we'll prepare a ballot that'll go over to the election commission, and then we'll work from there. There's some publication requirements that's before the election, but we'll handle all that with the city and just need to get out and talk to your voters.
So this, you gonna take one of these with you tonight, a signed copy of it? Or no?
I'll get with you all, assuming y'all will be here tomorrow, I'll get with y'all tomorrow and we'll handle all that.
Yes, sir.
Does that work? Okay, thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we going? Okay, now we're gonna go back to the second reading of the ordinance for the cross access for 122 South Broadview.
This is only just for general second reading of the cross access ordinance. Well, that this was 2025-09. You have a motion and a second to read by title only.
Yeah, appreciate
So moved.
it. And a second? Nothing for this side of the table?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to have the second reading of ordinance 2509. Ready to vote? Yeah. Anita,
Just a quick.
all in favor?
We're reading it by title only.
Read it
instead
by
of the
title
whole thing.
only, yeah.
That's all the question is.
In a second?
Second.
Okay. Okay, Dustin's gonna read it by, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There you go.
The City of Greenbrier, Arkansas ordinance 2025-09, an ordinance permitting variance of ordinance 695 to waive requirements of cross-access requirements for 122 South Broadview Street. We took off the emergency, so we're skipping that part, and for other purposes.
So you've heard the second reading, and just need a motion to approve. The second,
That's just a second read.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
we don't have to
It's
approve,
not-
okay, it's just the second reading. Next month, we'll just approve it, okay. Okay, so that's taken care of, okay. Daniel, East Side Sewer Project. Tough act to follow.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, we'll go. I do have one quick update on the sewer plant. We were having, experiencing some issues with the UV system over torquing on the cleaners of the bulbs. Last week, we had a technician in from the manufacturer. Ended up being a poorly set screw from the manufacturer, and that's been corrected. We haven't had any issues for a week. So we're happy with that. We're having a lot of issues with those. Again, it was a manufacturing issue. We're able to resolve that. So much better now on those. On the east side sewer, we have submitted to the health department. We've got a response and we're working with them to get the project approved. We expect that approval to be in the next few days or a week or so. And the plans and the specifications, everything are ready to go with the approval of the council. Is there any questions or any other updates on the East Side Sewer project?
We went over it pretty thoroughly in this.
When's it going out for bid?
Well, whatever is convenient and appropriate for the city and assuming council approval.
If we council approved tonight and everything, we're working with Dustin now, Barbara is, to get the easement letters. I think we talked about maybe late January. possible.
Yeah,
We get this thing out to bid if we move on.
yeah, you have, basically you have a third of the project already in easement because it's sort of a move and replace of what infrastructure you already have in the ground. It's an upsize. You don't need an easement there. We'll notify landowners, but we'll just kind of tell them, hey, we're upgrading your sewer line. The next approximately third of the project is on one or two landowners that are already agreeable, so we expect that to go. And then the other third of the project is more choppy and more individual landowners. But you could immediately start if you wanted to on the bottom 2/3 of the project, so.
Is this gonna run, in my case, on the north side of the creek or on the south side?
On your case, it's on the north side, very close to the creek.
Were you able, did you get the papers that I gave to a couple people?
Yes, sir.
And if, I understand I'm required to give a 20-foot easement, by the same token, I don't see where there's gonna be a 20-foot easement based on what you told me about the tree and my grain field. I don't think there's gonna be 20 foot there.
Yeah, we don't, I mean, we typically ask for a 20-foot easement, and that allows for the construction and for a couple of vehicles to pass, okay? And on an individual basis, we can, not a couple of vehicles, but you got an excavator and then being able to go around the excavator while you're constructing.
Wow.
I misspoke there, poorly spoke. But on a case-by-case basis, if we have access on both sides, we can narrow up that actual width of construction considerably. For short distances, like across one landowner's property.
Well, in my case, and we've discussed it, I'm the only one that's my front yard.
Sure.
But I'm looking for example, down at the church, I believe they're on septic, so they will probably want to go on sewer. So wouldn't it make more sense to run the pipe on the north side of the creek?
I think we are on the north side of the creek, aren't we?
Oh, excuse me, south side of the creek, sorry.
Okay. The main issue with that is crossing the creek, because you have to cross the creek twice. And those are, more expense, to cross the
And
creek.
weak points. And weak points. You want to cut out as many creek crossings as you can with a wastewater line. It's something that's going to be exposed to the elements inside of the creek for all of eternity in the life of that line. And Daniel's been a part of it. We have spent some money and some effort fixing those suckers for the city of Greenbrier. And when they bust, everybody and their dog's coming out for it. ADQ, health department, everybody wants a piece of it. You want to avoid them as much as you can. They're inevitable, but you don't want extra.
Well, obviously, I can't vote on it since it does affect my property. It's only proper. But I'll say it again, I'm not happy with it being closer to my house, and my wife definitely isn't. And especially all the money we just put in there for the new septic. It is what it is, and I know I have no option, it has to be, but I still not happy about it.
Sure, understood.
Well, you're making a sacrifice for the greater good.
No, I don't want to hear that from, I would think you would be more professional instead of sitting there smirking. I think that's poor class.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion.
That's right. You should know better.
How about Mrs. Crumps? We could get, put them easement through Mrs. Crumps.
Not yet. I'll get it one way or another.
You talked to that lady in California? Okay.
That voicemail.
If we have to, we'll give her a call. I'm sure we're gonna have to. We have to talk to her some way or another.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so y'all heard. Y'all ready to move forward with the East Side Sewer project? You just need a motion to approve.
I approve.
Second. Motion been made and seconded to approve the East Side Sewer project. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Present.
You present. Okay, thank you very much. You got your work cut. You're gonna contact the lady in California.
I'll be glad to.
Okay. Okay, the next item, you know, we've been doing a couple of, performance bonuses for employees over the last few years, and we did one, I think, back in June. I think, and we try to do another one right this time of the year, if y'all will approve it. It'll be the same exact thing as what we did in June. I think it's 400 for full-time employees unless they've been here 20 years, and they get 600, and then part-time gets 125, so it's the same thing. If y'all want to approve that, we'll have it ready for them.
That's entirely reasonable.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve that for our employees.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to approve the performance bonus for employees. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, y'all have a month to look over the 26 budget. Leslie will answer any questions. You can have any, so, it's pretty much the same as last year, except we did actual employees for police and fire and equipment.
I do have one question, Leslie,
Okay,
for the fire department.
okay.
When we have our volunteers, now are they in some sort of retirement funding?
Well, the volunteers are, they go through WAPB as well, that they get the volunteer contribution, which is a set amount per month. It's in other words, it's not based on their wages. Does that make sense?
Repeat it one more time, I heard
Okay.
half of
For
it.
the volunteers and the part-time employees, they have a set amount that the city contributes to, just a nominal retirement. In other words, they don't have full-blown lot fee like
Right,
the full-time firefighters do.
now do they contribute any of that?
No, that's the city only.
Okay.
contributes that.
There's not that many volunteers from what I am understanding that'll show up to either a fire